YouTube, what's up? Day 2 of the draft has just finished up, and another great day for the draft. A lot of steals in this draft. Guys, surprising players just slid down the boards for some reason. I'm going to go over each pick pretty much real quick, talk about each pick, and then mainly going to give the winners. Don't want to go over losers too much, don't really enjoy doing that, but we'll kind of get through that, I guess, pick by pick, because there's picks I do not like. But starting with the first pick in the second round was the Packers taking Kevin King. Good corner, obviously, a lot of potential. Maybe not, maybe he wouldn't have been the corner I went with, but definitely worthy of this pick around this area. So good pick, and it was also a need. Jaguars taking Cam Robinson, big need, solid player. I think this is where I thought he would go, so good pick. Seahawks taking Malik McDowell, not the biggest need, but a great player with a lot of potential. Nothing wrong with that pick. Could have went with a different position though there. Cardinals trade up and take Budda Baker. Like Budda Baker a lot. Fits right in with those Cardinals too, their defense. So I like Budda Baker. That's a good pick. Love the Bills taking Zay Jones. Excellent pick. I was saying the Bills should start looking to trade up since they gathered a bunch of picks because they could use that Zay Jones because I'm a big fan of Zay Jones, and they did exactly that. So really like that one. Chargers taking Forrest Lamp fills a huge need, and I can't believe he was there still. Jets taking another safety in Marcus May. They have Jamal Adams and Marcus May. Love Marcus May's game. I think there was better safeties though, but still not a bad pick because May is a for sure good player. Him with Adams is going to be scary in the future. Panthers taking Curtis Samuel. Love Curtis Samuel, but kind of odd. Similar player to McCaffrey. More of a receiver than a running back. I guess McCaffrey's more of a running back than a receiver, but they both can do similar things. But definitely helps the team. Ninth pick in the second round, the Vikings take Dalvin Cook. My number 9 player overall goes 41st overall. So there's not enough pluses to go at the end of this A I got for that pick. So excellent pick there. And then another one, a couple more in a row here. The Saints taking Marcus Williams. My number 3 safety in the draft. I have him graded as a top 32 player. Ultimate center fielder. He's going to be a good player and a huge need for the Saints. And then Sidney Jones, who was my number 1 corner, got drafted by the Eagles, did get hurt. So when is he going to play? Hopefully early on this season. Hopefully he's ready to play right away. So 3 in a row. Great picks there. Then the Rams took Gerald Everett. Maybe a little early, but he's definitely a weapon. I like Gerald Everett a lot. Bears took Adam Shaheen. Now, I don't know. I guess it's not really fair to judge this one. I don't know enough, I guess. I know a lot about most of these players, but the D2 player from Ashland, I don't know enough about, I guess. But I think it was early. I actually had him graded as a 4th rounder. So I think it was early. I thought they would go DB for sure. I thought for sure they were going to go DB. There was plenty to choose from here. They do not have a 3rd round pick. They did trade back and gather picks. I did like that, but wasn't really a fan of the actual pick itself there. The Colts take Quincy Wilson. I had Quincy Wilson graded in the 1st round. Colts get him here. Excellent pick. The Ravens take Tyus Bowser, edge rusher. This is where I thought he would go around this area. Solid pick to add to the defense. The Bengals take a chance on Joe Mixon. 1st round talent. Obviously, this is where he should have went because what happened. They do have 2 other solid running backs, but Joe Mixon should be better than those 2 in the near future. So overall, good pick. Must have been their best player on the board. I would assume had to been. Redskins take Ryan Anderson. I really like Ryan Anderson. Thought he could have went earlier in this because he can play outside linebacker. He can play D-end. He can even play inside linebacker. So he helps any team. Buccaneers taking Justin Evans. I like Justin Evans, but I think there was another safety they could have went with. But really, good pick, good playmaker back there, and was fills a big need here. Broncos taking DeMarcus Walker. DeMarcus Walker was one of my sleepers, production guy, and so I really like this pick for the Broncos. Maybe not a giant need, but good player. Browns taking DeShone Kizer. Love this. I thought even though I kind of bashed him all during this process because at one point, mainly I was bashing the media and the draft experts because really everybody had him at number 1 quarterback. I had him at number 4 kind of all along, and I stuck with it, but he still should have been a 1st rounder. The fact that he's a quarterback and he has a ton of potential. So the Browns get a quarterback here. I just hope they play him and just stick it out with him. Don't bench him. Don't give up too early, what the Browns tend to do, or maybe sometimes the Browns get unfortunate. But Stick it out with Kaiser. He will be good. The Lions take Tease Tabor, as was once known as a first-round pick. Dropped a little bit. Still a good football player. Tape doesn't lie. But this is where he should have went, given what has happened for him in this process with his workouts. Dolphins taking Raekwon McMillan. Was more of his range, but they had a huge need there, so a solid pick. Giants taking Delvin Tomlinson. Wasn't a need, but obviously he was one of the better players on the board. I mean, they could have done better with this pick, but I like Tomlinson, so overall solid pick. The Raiders steal Obi Melifonwu here. Excellent pick, A-plus pick. Thought he would go first round. I had him graded as a very early second round, but I thought he would go first round. Texans taking Zach Cunningham, another great player. They never even met with him, according to Zach Cunningham. So this is one of these situations where they did not expect him to be here at all, and he was too good to pass. Seahawks take Ethan Posick, LSU lineman. I thought this was a little early, but fills a need. The Chiefs take Tano Passanio, Villanova freak defensive lineman. Overall solid pick there. The Cowboys take Chidobe Awuzie, who some thought was a first rounder. I had him graded as a second rounder, but this is still a great pick and fills a need. The Packers take Josh Jones, safety, NC State. Solid pick there, and another way to fill a need there for the Packers. Steelers take Juju Smith-Schuster. Wasn't really expecting a receiver, but he's a good receiver, worthy of a second-round pick. The Bills take Deion Dawkins, a lineman that I expected to go in this area. The Panthers with another lineman, back-to-back lineman, I should say, come off the board here. Panthers take Taylor Moton, a solid player that can play guard or tackle. People are missing out on two other linemen that I had ranked ahead of those guys, though. On to the third round. Browns take Larry Ogunjobi, who I like, but maybe just a little early. Niners taking Akello Witherspoon from Colorado, the corner, one of my sleepers, 6'3" corner with a ton of potential. Needs to work on tackling, though, but is a great corner. I thought was going to go in the second round, so Niners continue to build that defense. The Saints get one of the biggest steals in the draft, my number 16 overall player, Alvin Kamara, in the third round. Really, Dalvin Cook dropping because of off-the-field issues really pushed back these other running backs, because teams like, do we go with Alvin Kamara? Could we pass on Dalvin Cook? And they went with a different direction there. So I think that pushes Alvin Kamara back. That pushes Marlon Mack, who I thought would go second, third round, didn't even go today, back. So crazy situation there. Dwayne Smoot, the Jags took Dwayne Smoot. One point was known as a late first. Never thought he was going to be a late first, though. Probably his range, solid pick. Rams take Cooper Kupp, second round. Most people thought they take him in the third. Good pick. The Vikings take Pat Elflein, Ohio State center / guard. I really like this pick here because I had the Vikings possibly taking him second, or I thought third at one point as well. But they need a guard, and they need a center of the future, and they got both in Pat Elflein. And the Chargers take Dan Feeney, who I thought was a second round pick. Mid-second round pick at the latest, so the Chargers fill a big need there. Too good to pass. Really like that Chargers pick there. That's an A-plus pick. Titans taking Taywan Taylor, Western Kentucky wide receiver, production guy. He fits right in that Titans offense. Carlos Henderson would have been a little better pick, because I really like Carlos Henderson, and he's similar to Taylor, but Taylor does fit in, and it's a good pick. Bengals take Jordan Willis. He was considered a first rounder at one point. I expected him second round. Bengals get him in the third. Ravens take Chris Wormley, Michigan defensive lineman, can play D tackle or D end. Expected him in the second or early third. They get a good player there. Falcons take Duke Riley, can play inside or outside linebacker, so that helps them out. Saints take Alex Anzalone, and I think it's a little early for me just because how he's injury prone. It seems, but when he's on the field, he's a good player. So a little early in my opinion. Another one a little early, Deshaun Hall, Texas A&M end. I expected him in the fourth round. Panthers took him in the third. Ravens take Tim Williams. I have him graded as a first round player, but has off the field issues somewhat. So he drops to the third. Great value pick, A++ there. Jets taking Ardarius Stewart. Another guy similar to Taylor, could have went anywhere in this range. I like that pick. He has a lot of upside to him. Colts take Terrell Basham. Was his range, so solid pick where they're picking him. Redskins take Fabian Moreau, late first, early second guy until he got hurt. This was more of his range, I thought, but maybe a little more of a value pick there. Good pick by the Redskins. Broncos take Carlos Henderson, which I talked about, one of my favorite players in the draft. Thought he was a second-round player. So excellent pick. Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and Carlos Henderson is just scary, but they need somebody to throw it to him. Hopefully they got a quarterback that can step it up this year. A-plus pick there. Patriots taking Derek Rivers. I just see him on the Patriots. He's going to be a good player on the Patriots. Wasn't really sure where he was going to go. I guess I thought this was his range. Carl Lawson would have been my pick, but you can't really go against the Patriots here. I mean, Carl Lawson is still available, by the way, which is ridiculous. But that is a guy I did say that I heard could drop to, I was saying third round, even though I did mention that some teams said early fourth round. I didn't think that was possible, but I did say that, and people were very concerned with me on that. Weren't really sure about me, I think, at that point, but I'm still surprised, even though I said it might happen. Chris Godwin of the Bucks. Bucks, I think, need more defensive help than what they're trying to get here, but I mean, he's too good to pass. Great receiver. Add to that core is just scary, but they do need more defensive help, I think. So good pick, but kind of a surprise though the direction they're going in. But I guess you got to respect them staying true to their big board. Good receiver there. Patriots go Antonio Garcia, which I think could be a starter in the near future, and he may not start for a little bit. I know Nate Soldier is going to be a free agent, so maybe that works out. The Chiefs taking Kareem Hunt. I really like Kareem Hunt, but Marlon Mack was a better running back, and Deontay Foreman was as well. To me, just barely above Kareem Hunt. So they took him before other running backs, but still a good pick. So I like Kareem Hunt's potential. Giants take Davis Webb. Solid pick. I thought he should go in this range, but I expected him to go earlier. So overall, good pick. Heard the Giants try to trade up for Mahomes. Failed to do that, so they got a quarterback of the future here after Eli's done. Raiders take Eddie Vanderdoes. I think this is a little early. I thought he was a fourth round pick, maybe even early 5, but I expected like mid-late 4. So maybe a little early there. Texans take Deontay Foreman. Good value here. Solid running back. Will back up Lamar Miller. Should get some touches. Seahawks take Shaquille Griffin. I thought was going to end up being a sleeper corner, maybe 4th round. In the way this draft was going, maybe he gets pushed back to the 5th, but no, the Seahawks take him 3rd. He is a good player, but is a little early. Rams take John Johnson, safety, Boston College. He also can play corner. I like this pick here for the Rams. Cowboys, Jordan Lewis, Michigan corner, recently involved in an off-the-field issue. So they're kind of to be determined. 2nd-round talent, though, skill-wise. Packers steal Montravis Adams, who I thought at one point maybe a late 1st round, but I expected early 2nd. Excellent player there from Auburn for the Packers. Is A-plus, great all day. Steelers take Cam Sutton, corner from Tennessee. I love this pick. Love Cam Sutton. Yes, I had maybe a couple more corners ranked, or DBs ranked ahead of him at this point, but it's just a fit to me. I see him more as a slot corner for the Steelers and can play right away at slot corner. That can help them a lot. Delano Hill, the Seahawks. I like Delano Hill. Was the better Michigan safety, but again, I think this is a little early. I thought maybe a 4th, even early 5th round, but the Seahawks know what they're doing with defensive backs, so not going to hate on them too much there. This is one of the most interesting picks. The Lions taking Kenny Golladay from NIU. If you watch my past videos, you know how much I rave about this guy being a late-round sleeper, and I really liked him as a prototype receiver for the NFL, and he goes 3rd round, so very surprising to me. Not a bad pick, but it is early. I thought I was going to be talking about this guy going too late, but now I'm talking about him going a little too early, but he's got a ton of potential. The Lions saw that, so maybe a future Calvin Johnson type guy. I think he needs to gain some weight for that, though, but is an excellent receiver, but needs some work. Dolphins take Cordrea Tankersley, Clemson corner here in the 3rd round. I thought he was a 2nd-round pick all day. Great value here, A++ pick. Cardinals with another surprising receiver pick here, Chad Williams from Grambling, a guy that I liked, but again, liked him as a sleeper pick on day 3. So they take him a little early, but he can be a good player. At the Senior Bowl, corners were asked who was the hardest receiver there to cover, and most of them said Chad Williams, which was very surprising, but that means something. So it is early, but he another prototype looking receiver, and he has the potential. Eagles take Rasul Douglas. They get Sidney Jones, then Rasul Douglas. Pretty solid there. Big corner from West Virginia, playmaking corner. Titans take Jonnu Smith, one of the biggest risers in the draft, the tight end from Florida International. One point we thought he was like a 6th rounder. Then he was getting a bunch of buzz, and we're like, this guy might go in the 5th, maybe 4th. Titans take him 3rd. It's a little early, but it's a fit. He's similar to Delaney Walker, so maybe Delaney Walker on the way out, even though he's still playing at a pretty high level. Jonnu Smith takes over, so it's a great fit. I just think it's a little early. Broncos taking Brendan Langley from Lamar. This is too early to me. Corner with good size and potential, but this was just too early. I thought he was going to go day 3. I thought he was a lock for day 3. Seahawks taking Nazir Jones, guy that I like, but I thought he was more of a 4th rounder. Can be a good player, though. The Saints take Trey Hendrickson, another one, good player, a lot of production, but I thought 4th rounder was more like it, but yeah, a ton of production. And now to the worst pick of day 2, probably the worst pick of the draft. It would be the Niners taking C.J. Beathard from Iowa, the quarterback, which they traded up to get. I'm just really confused on this pick. I've heard people talk about him, experts talk about him as a late round guy they really like, and I bash that. I did not even have him getting drafted. Struggled a lot. He needs a ton of work. Maybe they saw something in him, but in the 3rd round and to trade up to get him was just mind-blowing. This to me, the Niners were probably having the best draft. They were having the best draft out of anybody for sure. And then they get the worst pick in the draft, in my opinion, right here. So scratching my head on that one. The Steelers take James Conner. Love James Conner. Good player. Marlon Mack was still available, though, the South Florida running back. I really like him there, but James Conner is going to be a good player. Darboh for the Seahawks. Like that pick. Did like Josh Malone going in the 3rd. Josh Malone has been my personal, one of my personal biggest risers. I thought for sure 3rd round. There's nothing wrong with his game. So I had him just edging out Darboh in my rankings, but Darboh is a great player. Good pick. The Seahawks had a need at receiver. That was kind of a wild card need for me. And the Buccaneers get Kendall Beckwith, the LSU inside linebacker, help out that defense a little bit. Solid pick. Was kind of his range. Was thinking more early 4th, but overall solid pick. Let me go over the winners. Ton of winners. There's more than I'm going to list, but I just want to list just some here. Look at the Dolphins, the Giants, the Colts, and the Eagles all had great days. More teams I want to go more in depth on. The Chargers getting 2 offensive linemen, Lamp and Feeney, instant starters, and their biggest need was offensive line, and didn't even use a 1st round on offensive line. Just love that. Not a lot of wow to it, obviously. A little boring maybe if you're a Chargers fan, but you got to be happy, fill the need. Texans getting Zach Cunningham, which some thought was a 1st rounder, and Deontay Foreman, which some thought was a 2nd rounder. Had to mention them. Cowboys getting Awuzie and Jordan Lewis. Kind of to be determined because that Jordan Lewis thing, off the field issues, but that really helped their secondary a lot. The Browns getting Kaiser and Ogunjobi. Ogunjobi not really gonna jump out my seat on that pick, but the Kaiser pick mainly. And the Bengals getting Jordan Willis and Joe Mixon, 2 possible 1st round talents. But the teams, I got 5 teams here that are big winners. I got 4 teams that are big winners. The 5th place team just missed out. I'm going to explain why now. Broncos, DeMarcus Walker, Carlos Henderson. Looking at those 2 picks, yes, this is a big winner. But then Langley, I did not like the Langley pick. Way too early for me. Can be a solid corner, though. But again, DeMarcus Walker, Carlos Henderson, love those picks. So I'll give them the 5th place spot on the day. 4th place spots. Very tough. Very tough to split these all up. I'm gonna go with the Saints, and similar reasons with the Broncos. Marcus Williams and Alvin Kamara, probably they're up there in my favorite picks in the draft, both for the Saints. But then Anzalone and Hendrickson were a little too early for me. So 4 picks, 2 of them were just A pluses, no question. Then the other 2 they weren't bad picks, but they could have done better there. So Saints are a big winner today, though. Love Marcus Williams and Alvin Kamara pick. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Tyus Bowser, Chris Wormley, Tim Williams. They got 3 starters on defense. Yes, they needed some wide receivers. They needed that. Maybe that's why they're not the biggest winner in most people's opinion, but they got 3 defensive starters. Tim Williams is a 1st-round talent. That defense is going to be scary in the near future, so it's already pretty solid too. So Big winner, Ravens. I'm going to go number 2. I'm going to go to the Vikings. This could be number 1 just because of one pick, but I can't base it off one pick. Dalvin Cook, my number 9 player in the draft, goes 41st. This is the pick of the draft. If I have to give an award so far to the best pick in the draft, it's this. Vikings taking Dalvin Cook. And then Pat Elflein, another one, great pick. Fills a huge need. He can do 2 things. Not going to jump out my seat for this pick, though. But 2 great picks. One is the best pick in the draft. But my number 1 is going to go to a Vikings rival as the Packers. Get Kevin King, Josh Jones, and Montravius Adams. Kevin King, not going to be an A-plus pick, but it'll be an A pick. And they needed a corner pretty bad to get Josh Jones. That'll be an A, maybe an A-plus pick there. Fills the need. And then Montravius Adams I don't have enough pluses for that A pick there, A++. And it just helps that defense out. They got 3 guys that could start, and for the Packers to take that next step, if they would have went to the Super Bowl last year, because that defense was better than it was, and the offense is going to be good. So major upgrade. It's very similar to the Ravens. You really can't rank those 4 big winners I had. It can go in any order. I think the Packers just really made themselves better. They're like the Ravens. They got 3 starters possibly, but they already had a pretty solid defense. So Packers really made themselves better here. Pretty sure they gained picks in the making too. Same with the Vikings. The Vikings traded up to get both those guys, but they also made moves and trade back, and they ended up with 7 picks for tomorrow. So really like what those teams did. All the ones I named there are just big winners. So day 3 tomorrow, rounds 4 through 7. Can't wait. Should be an exciting day. Please like, subscribe, stay tuned for more. Follow our Twitter, frogs_angels, and that'll do it for this one. Goodbye.